What's poppin', everybody? This is Sable4. This is going to be a response video to The Future of Pokemon Cards by Celio's network, a very recent video. I mostly agree with, I guess, 90% of everything said in that video. It's a brilliant video, by the way, and very professionally made. Better than most videos I've made on my channel, so I recommend you watch it if you haven't. But even though I agree with almost everything in that video, there is one part that I think is very inaccurate, and I don't want to say disingenuous, but he sort of exaggerates how good the Pokemon TCG is right now because he compared it to some of the better formats from back in the day. So long story short, the video goes on about how the Pokemon TCG used to be with, balanced formats and the variety of evolution Pokemon that were useful. And then some of the darker periods like Black and White when Mewtwo EX came out and it basically destroyed everything. Mewtwo EX, and Mewtwo EX was the best counter to Mewtwo EX. Then Darkrai came around. And Black and White, just to put it in perspective how awful some of their ideas were. It was in Black and White where they thought they're going to change the rules where the first player can do everything, play all trainers, supporter cards, everything, and attack. So, insane. That was insane. But goes on to some of the other bad formats, like with Sun and Moon when the Tag Team GXs came out and they made all of the other stuff in that era obsolete. There are broken effects, like with Mewtwo Mew GX, what it could do, Arceus Dialga Palkia GX, of course, and even things like Gengar Mimikyu with an attack that would get an instant knockout. Oh, no, not an instant knockout, just prevent your opponent from just playing at all. Confused it with something else. But anyway, and then going into the VMAX era, where it was just more HP, more Pokemon with large HP, giving away 3 prizes, and they were pretty bland too. And comparing it with now, Scarlet and Violet, they are indeed bringing back a lot of mechanics from Gen 3, like the reversal energy, which is basically scramble energy. They brought back N in the form of Iono or Iono. And, evolution Pokemon that are, they can be stage 1 EX, stage 2 EX, not just basic EX Pokemon. However, the rule still exists in that only the special cards get to be special, and all the other regular evolution Pokemon and all the regular Pokemon, pretty much, are just completely weak and don't really upgrade with the same rate as the rule box Pokemon. I've made countless videos on my channel about this, and it just seems like it's never gonna end. I'm always gonna have to bring it up because I watched this video on Celio's network, and I'm like, okay, I don't agree with this part. But then when I go down in the comments and I just voice my opinion, and I've got all of the ass-kissing defenders that probably haven't even played for 5 years, or maybe 10 years, let's just say. They have not been playing or being invested in these older formats as I have, trying to explain to me that I'm either delusional or I don't know what I'm talking about. Where it's them that they're the ass kissers and the ignorant ones. I've said this a million damn times. I mean, I don't even gotta say it. If you just do the math on your own, look at the cards, review, look at sets. Like, let's say in Gen 3 or Gen 4, look at all of the cards, their average damage output, their average, HP. This isn't just all of the filler cards, like all of the best cards with the bad cards, let's just say. You'll see that they are closer in league, even in that sense. I don't have a problem with top tier decks, and not everything can be top tier. Obviously, the best decks and the best cards are going to make it on top. But we gotta have an even playing field, a balanced format, and then the best cards and the best decks come out on top. The problem with the design philosophy today is that you got a Pokemon set, Scarlet and Violet, whatever. You got like 200 cards in that set, huge ass set. You got the rule box Pokemon, and then you got all of the hundreds of evolution, regular Pokemon, whatever, that are designed deliberately to be filler, matching HP and not so much attacks, but I guess HP is the most important part. From 10 years ago, we used to have Gen 3, Gen 4, Pokemon with 50, 60 HP, the small basic Pokemon evolving into Stage 2 Pokemon with 120 HP and what have you. And from 15 and 20 years ago till now, there haven't really been that much improvement. I keep just bringing this up all the time. You make the comparison with basic EXs in Gen 3 and then a Stage 2. Regular Pokemon would have more HP. You'd have like a Rayquaza EX, 100 HP. You get like a Nidoqueen from Fire and Leaf Green, 120 HP. Nowadays, you got Torterra, 190 HP, the strongest Stage 2 HP wise that I can think of. You got 190 HP, you got basic Pokemon like Chien-Pao, 220 HP. So you don't even need me to just explain it. You can just review the cards and the sets themselves and do the math yourself. And then these deniers come out in the comments and tell me stupid shit like, oh, you can just put the tool that gives all of the regular Pokemon 100 HP now. I'm like, dude, you put that on, that means you can't have another tool. And then you basically have a handicapped, half-baked stage 2 or just an EX Pokemon that's going to give away 2 prizes. Like if I put this on to a Groudon with 130 HP, he just becomes a 230 HP EX at that point. There's not really much point. This is not about, I understand there's always going to be exceptions. You got some regular Pokemon that are good. They usually revolve around gimmicks like Cramorant and Sableye in Lost Box and what have you. Or you got these Stage 2 Gardevoir, which on its own, it's a very underwhelming Stage 2 Pokemon. 140 HP for a Stage 2. That's the type of HP we had in Diamond and Pearl, like in the Heart Gold Soul Series era, more than 10 years ago at this point, 13 years ago, okay? And then it has an attack where if it wasn't for the Gardevoir EX, you wouldn't see any Stage 2 Gardevoir deck on its own. In fact, that card did come out before Gardevoir EX came out in Scarlet and Violet. It's pretty much a Sword and Shield card, okay? I don't remember exactly when it came out, but one of the Sword and Shield sets, and didn't really see any play. It came in a set with Gallade too, that I used, but didn't really see much play besides as a support draw Pokemon, and that's it. It's only become an attacker now that we got Reversal Energy and especially Gardevoir EX that can just power it up, evolve from the same Pokemon. So the exception doesn't make the rule. It's the design philosophy, the overall design philosophy that you have all of the regular Pokemon that are still underwhelming on purpose. They're not at their best potential. They don't improve with the same rate and speed as the rulebox Pokemon. Okay? And as the dude says in the video, Celio's network, you compare this especially with basic EXs and just attack teams and stuff where you wouldn't need all the space for the evolution cards and rare candies and shit. And yeah, it would be pretty unfair. You got the regular Pokemon and the Stage 2s not being able to compete. But like even now, even though you got Evolution Stage 2 Pokemon, and this is supposed to be a good era, this only works if you want to pretend the regular Pokemon don't exist. Like if we're going to pretend all of the filler Pokemon, all of the Stage 2s that do like 120 for 3, 120 HP Stage 1 Pokemon nobody's going to use. Yeah, if we pretend all of those don't exist, then yeah, this is a pretty good format. I'm enjoying it as well. But the regular Pokemon still exist and they're still filler. That's the problem. So I don't like how he concludes his video and just goes, oh yeah, we're finally at a good time again in the Pokemon TCG. This is as good as how it was in Gen 3. I just don't agree with that because the design philosophy in that format was still just drastically different. You would see so many similar cards in terms of their damage output, their HP. Obviously, you've got the decks and tactics and the cards that come out on top. But like the cards that were going to be like in the middle, they were all in the middle together, doing 50 for 3, having the same amount of HP pretty much, Like nowadays, you just see some cards and you see, okay, Garchomp EX, 1 energy, 160 for 1, can grab 3 energies. Then you got other Pokemon, same stage 2, 1 energy attack, like Golem, let's say. It does some bullshit by comparison. Doesn't make sense, like it's not a balanced design. I don't really know how to explain it. And that's even an EX Pokemon too. Don't even get me started on the evolution, the regular evolutions. You know, you can't use those Pokemon. The ones that can't be used, what they have in common is they attack with 1 energy or no energies, like with Cramorant. And then they're gonna die in 1 shot, most definitely next turn, is a near guarantee. And that's why they can just barely get by if they even see play. Another thing that Celio's network talked about is the potential dangerous impact of Iron Hands and Iron Valiant EX. And I just think to myself one thing when he was talking about that. Iron Valiant EX, people thought maybe it's going to be too dangerous because you can just switch it around all day, you know, get free damage counters and then get easy kills on the small Pokemon and get auto victories like that. Sort of how the shitty ass, you know, Ferromosa, GX, Latios EX decks used to be in Expanded, where you do this turbo shit, just trying to dunk your opponent basically. That kind of tactic. Well, in the first place, the only reason that's gonna even be a threat is because we still have these small regular Pokemon with 50 and 60 HP and 70 HP. Like, maxing out at that. Where they should be at around 110 HP, 120 HP. Evolving into stage 1s and stage 2s that have 200 and over 200 HP. Once again, do the math, make the comparison with Gen 3. The average HP difference from, let's say, a regular stage 2 Pokemon and a stage 2 EX Pokemon in Gen 3 would be between 30 to 50 HP, you know, give or take, okay? A stage 2 EX right now, compared with the average HP of a regular stage 2, it's a 150 HP difference. You know, you got your 170 HP regular Pokemon, or 180 like Tyranitar, let's say. And then you got things like Charizard with 330, 320. It was the same with even the GX era, because Celio says, you know, the beginning of the GX era was pretty good. You know, you had stage 2 GXs like Metagross and Decidueye, whatever. You know, those types of Pokemon, they were averaging around 250 HP. And then back then, the HP on the stage 2s were around 150 once again. That was still like 100 and 100 HP difference. So, once again, night and day. And it's even worse now when you think about it. So I just look at these things, which are basically just, to me, they should have been common knowledge. But then everybody's ignorant about this. I really don't understand it. So to put a full stop on this video, at the end of the day, yeah, if you're going to pretend all of the filler Pokemon don't exist, this is an okay format. We have a variety of EXs that can be used, regular and evolution. You got a few, I guess, regular Pokemon exceptions, basically, gimmick exceptions like Sableye and Cramorant, and then you got, there was a dude in the comments talking about Rapid Strike Malamar. Like, dude, yeah, these decks exist. I used Groudon with Claydol. These sort of tactics exist, but they're based on, I don't really know how to explain it. Gimmick is a word, or just trying to make up for all of the disadvantages you would have that you shouldn't really have today. Trying to do fast damage because you know you're going to be dying turn after turn. That kind of thing. You got to be able to dish out crazy damage on the cheap. And that's not really a balanced way to have the regular Pokemon. Everything else becomes useless. You know, I wanna be able to see stage 2 Pokemon, pretty much like how Charizard EX works, Charizard EX with Pidgeot. What about a damn regular stage 2 Tyranitar or something being used with Pidgeot? To some success. But that can't happen if the dude is going to be dying in one shot. 180 HP, not enough for him to live. You know, it's not enough. Anyway, but once again, to sum up, yeah, if you pretend the regular Pokemon don't exist, then yeah, this is an okay format. It's not a golden age compared to Generation 3, not even close. But we can say it's a good enough format. If they really do want to get the shit on the next level though and have this B competition for Gen 3 and Gen 4, they absolutely have to improve the HP, make all of the regular Pokemon on average more useful. They gotta improve all of their HP so they can actually be and compete in the same league and not just rely on a one-off gimmick here and there. And as for Iron Hands EX, I guess talk about that quickly as well. I wouldn't really say it's exactly Arceus Dialga-Palkia. It is dangerous getting extra prizes, but it does 120. It's in that range where, yeah, it's gonna suck against the small regular Pokemon, but it's also in the range where at least it doesn't one-shot EXs, and you gotta hurt, not EXs, the regular stage 2s, but you gotta hurt an EX and then do the 120 to get the kill. So it's definitely a lot more balanced than Arceus Dialga-Palkia GX. You know, once again, if Pokemon just had more HP, you know, these cards, they wouldn't be as dangerous. But anyway, this is what I had to say to all of the modern TCG ass kissers that just can't have the modern game be bad-mouthed. They've just been playing for a couple of years and think that, oh, Pokemon TCG is the best. It used to be better. So if you're gonna talk shit in the comments in my video, make sure you do your research first, do the math, do the comparisons, be invested to the same extent so you know what you're talking about. Research all the history first, because you come and tell me some bullshit, okay? Alright, this is SaberWolf94. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure to leave a like, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel, of course. And I'll see you guys next time. What a